morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at the lovely Antoine Boulet's lovely Malamar list. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Antoine did very, very well at the recent Japan National Championships. The short version essentially is that Antoine went 8-1 on day one, beating the eventual winner, qualified in 8th place out of 1,300 people, made it all the way through to top 16 and then dropped to go and get vaccinated. What that means is we don't actually know how well Antoine would have done had they actually carried on and just finished out the tournament. We do know that this is the best Malamar list around. We do know that it's a phenomenal list. And I'm just going out on a limb here and saying that had Antoine finished the tournament, I think we might be looking at the winner of a 1,300 person tournament. This Malamar list is absolutely legit. And also, ever since I posted the video of the list that officially won the tournament, I've had a lot of people going, all right, but can you show us Antoine's list and explain it for us? So if Antoine is watching, I am terribly sorry for any silly mistakes I make. And clearly Antoine knows the deck better than I do, but I will do my very best to do it justice. Now, I personally am delighted about this because it's all built around Malamar. And when I saw Chilling Reign, I told you there were two cards I was really excited about, and they were Malamar for Rapid Strike and Lycanroc for Single Strike. Seeing that this Malamar is absolutely legit and a proper top tier deck fills me with absolute unbridled joy. Now, there isn't a lot to Malamar here. We've got one attack, Rapid Strike Tentacles. For one Psychic Energy, you reveal any number of Rapid Strike cards from your hand, you deal 40 damage for each card you revealed, and you shuffle them back into your deck. But if you get enough cards in your hand, this can one-hit KO anything, not to mention that you are hitting weakness on stuff like Urshifu, and not for nothing, but Urshifu is a pretty big deal right now, and Mewtwo and Mew, which is seeing a whole bunch of play right now. So this is, firstly, it's one of those no damage cap attacks, which is good, but you're also hitting a super relevant weakness. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Now, we do need to mention very quickly, there's a 3-1 in-case split here. Because on the one hand, you really want to be playing the Rapid Strike in-case, so that can be put back into your deck to do extra damage with Malamar. But on the other hand, that is weak to Darkness, and it's got 60 HP. And the problem is, there are a whole bunch of Pokemon around, things like Umbreon V, for instance. And Umbreon V is fine, it's got a nice big attack and it evolved into the VMAX and all of that. But also single energy 30 damage, so an Umbreon with a Darkness Energy can get a straight KO on the Psychic Malamar. It's not actually 60 HP, it's 50, I lied to you. So my point here, although it makes no real difference, it's still 30 damage to get the KO. But my point here is that is actually very awkward. So it is worth having that Darkness Malamar, so you can essentially, when you're searching one out, if it's that kind of matchup, you can search for the Darkness Malamar and at least it's slightly more difficult to KO. Let's not go over the top, it's still got 60 HP, but it's at least slightly more reliable. Speaking of reliable, that's all we're looking for here. This is a Malamar deck. There isn't really another attacker, there's no extra text or anything like that. It is, I am attacking with Malamar, let's do this. So we have a 4-3 line of Octillery, because Octillery allows you to grab a Rapid Strike card and put it into your hand once per turn per Octillery. And this is actually really, really good, because one of the Rapid Strike cards we're going to be using to go slightly out of line here, slightly out of order, is Korrina's Focus. And Korrina's Focus draws until you have 6 cards in your hand. And a lot of the time with Malamar, you want to do a big attack. You want to empty out your hand or near as darn it. But if you've got an Octillery on the field, you can just search Korrina's Focus, play that, and immediately go up to 6 cards. This is a very, very good thing indeed. This is going to be great for consistency. We like this a lot. And you can afford to play a 4-3 line, because any extras you just use to power up Malamar. And then we got a 2-2 Chinchino line, and this is starting to turn into kind of like a fever dream deck of me. I'm not saying Antoine did make this deck to make me happy, but I am saying it is the Malamar from Chilling Reign, And I am saying that Cinccino is my boy that I try and fit into like every deck. So I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions. Although, just to be 100% clear, this is Antoine's deck that Antoine made, and I am being very silly. Cinccino lets you discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. Ordinarily, this is good. In this deck, it goes up to another level. Because, generally speaking, the card you discard is going to be a non-rapid strike card. And then you're going to draw 2 other cards. Hopefully, one or both of them is rapid strike. But it's not just this turn. Because remember, the rapid strike cards that you show to do damage with Malamar go back into the deck. So as you're using Cinccino, you're not just drawing extra cards to do extra damage this turn, but you're actually getting rid of non-rapid strike cards so that next turn when you play stuff like Corinna's Focus, you're more likely to draw into extra rapid strike cards. The synergy here is beautiful. We then have 1 copy of Oricorio. Now, this is one of the few cards which is actually going to rotate out when we hit our rotation, which is very, very sad. But Oricorio here, if you had a Pokemon KO'd last turn, draw 3 cards. And your entire deck is built around 120 HP single prize attacker, that is going to be KO'd more often than not, ladies and gentlemen. So this becomes a phenomenal card here. And between Octillery, Cinccino, and Oricorio, you can see how you can go from a very low hand to a big hand that you can use to absolutely smash. Because Octillery and Corinna will get you straight up to 6. Then you can start using Cinccino, and Oricorio will draw you 3 on top of that. This builds up quick, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very quick. The only other Pokemon we see here is a copy of Mew. Mew protects your bench because you've got lots of weak evolving Pokemon. You need Mew to protect your bench. Incidentally, this is the other card that is rotating out, which is very sad, but there's nothing we can do about it, so let's move on with our day. Now, in terms of energy, obviously there are a couple of basic psychic energy because you are playing a psychic deck, but we've also got a lovely bit of spiral energy here. Now, this is a very, very cool card. It is basically a special energy card that counts as any energy when you attach it to a rapid strike Pokemon, which you absolutely will be here. But not only that, stops you being paralyzed. And I'll be honest with you, it might not actually end up being terribly relevant for the whole paralysis thing. We will have to wait and see. But it doesn't really matter, because it's a handy bonus nonetheless. There are a whole bunch of little Pokemon out there that can paralyze. This is a very nice bonus indeed. I like this one, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, let's not forget, it is a rapid strike energy, which means it can be searched out with Octillery in a way that your basic energy cannot. So there's just an extra bonus there. And of course, you've also got the whole, you can put it back into your deck to do extra damage with Malamar. Now, moving over into your trainer cards here, I've already mentioned Corinna, and that is very, very important. But that's not the only draw card we've got. Professor's Research makes you discard your hand and draw 7 cards. And firstly, it's aggressive, which is good when you've got a small hand here. But also, you are not going to be discarding any rapid strike cards, because your rapid strike cards are all going to go back into your deck to deal extra damage. Although, to be fair, you can hold some of them sometimes and, use them next turn, but don't do that if you're going to play a Professor's Research. There we go. Also, while we're here, the Bruno from Battle Styles, it is a single strike card, which is obviously not, we want rapid strike, but it works beautifully in the deck. Because you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 4 cards, not good. But if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you draw 7. Well, again, like we said with Oricorio, that is going to be the case a lot here. You are going to get KO'd fairly often, so go for it. Get that new hand of 7. And then what you've got are 3 draw cards, which are going to be able to refill your hand very nicely before you get to stuff like Cinccino, Oricorio, etc. Now, in terms of other rapid strike cards, the only other one we've got in terms of trainers here is Tower of Waters. Tower of Waters just reduces the retreat cost of your rapid strike Pokemon by 2. It basically means that you're going to have free retreat with your Octillery. because we don't have a lot of switching cards here. We do have a couple of Scoop Up Net, let's mention that quickly. Incidentally, there is a great little trick with Scoop Up Net here, in that with either Cinccino or Octillery, if you use that ability and then Scoop Up Net them and evolve a different Remoraid or Minccino on the bench, because that's now a new Pokemon, you can reuse the ability. So if you've got 2 Remoraid down, you can Octillery, use the ability, Scoop Up Net, evolve the other Remoraid into that same Octillery card, and then use it again. That is a cool little trick the Scoop Up Net will let you do. But it's also there for a little bit of switching. But Tower of Waters is great. And it is worth noting that anything that isn't Octillery has a retreat cost of 1, or is Malamar and you want in the active anyway. So the only one you couldn't easily retreat with 1 energy is Octillery. So Tower of Waters works perfectly. In terms of Pokemon Search, we've got 4 Level Ball, which will get an awful lot of your Pokemon. Incidentally, remember that Cinccino has 90 HP, so Level Ball will get that as well as all of your basics, which is very, very cool. We've got 4 copies of Evolution Incense that will go ahead and get all of your Evolution Pokemon, and there are a bunch of them here. We've got 4 copies of Fog Crystal, which will search out your Malamar line, your Oricorio, and your Mew. Yeah, it's weird how many cards this one actually gets. It's being played largely for your Malamar, but it also will get your Oricorio and your Mew, which is a very handy bonus. And then we got 3 copies of Great Ball. And the thing is, yeah, sure, this is an awful lot of Pokemon Search, far more than you would usually have, but the deck runs on a Stage 1 Malamar, and you want your Stage 1 Octillery, your Stage 1 Cinccino, you want your Oricorio, and then when you're attacking, you want to be searching out extra Remoraid, etc. to do extra damage with your Malamar. You need Pokemon Search. 15 Pokemon Search cards is high. Do remember Fog Crystal will also get you an energy if you need it to. But you need those Pokemon and you need them out quickly. Now, Ordinary Rod becomes a very important card here because, of course, this is a Malamar deck. And there is no other attacker, not really. So it shuffles 2 Pokemon and 2 energy from your discard pile back into your deck. Put simply, you've got 4 Malamar. Each Ordinary Rod gets you an Inkay and a Malamar. That gets you 6 Malamar. And hopefully, and your opponent's probably going to Gust and KO something on the bench at some point, but in an ideal world, your opponent has to go through 6 Malamar to win the game. Well, that's where Ordinary Rod comes in. And then you've got a couple copies of Pokemon Catcher. Now, this is gusting on a coin flip, and incidentally, it is the only gusting in the deck. It is the only way in the deck to gust. You can't use something like Boss's Orders here. Incidentally, I've just gone through and shown you the deck. You need your draw supporters here to keep resetting that Malamar. There is absolutely no room for Boss's Orders. Now, Anton has actually given a bit of extra explanation about Pokemon Catcher over on Twitter. And one of the important things about this tournament in Japan, if neither player has taken 6 prizes before the end of the game, both players take a loss. So obviously it's super important that the game ends. Pokemon Catcher will allow you to do that more easily. And also, you're not always going to get giant one-hit KOs of Malamar. It's just not realistic. Sometimes you will, but it's not always going to happen. Well, in comes Pokemon Catcher, ladies and gentlemen, and Pokemon Catcher will go and end the game for you. Well, or at least get that massive KO. Here's the list as a whole. Congratulations to Antoine. Top 16 was what was needed for a Day 2 Worlds invite. So not only will Antoine be at Worlds, but a Day 2 invite, not a Day 1. That is frankly extremely impressive. And with Malamar, and I am absolutely delighted, ladies and gentlemen. It is so good to see Antoine doing well, to see Malamar doing well. Now I want somebody to go and have a good finish with Lycanroc, and I will be a very happy Wossie. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of this, and I don't want to know how legit you think Malamar is, so go nuts, would ya? And be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.